What is a Cohen? A Dvar Torah for Parashat Shemini. What is the role of the Cohanim? I always thought that it was to work in Beit Hamikdash. My proof was the multitude of functions in the temple that could only be done by Cohanim. Here are some examples: receiving the blood, Holachah, throwing the blood, Kemitza, Haktara, lighting the candles, cleaning the altar, and more. That's why I was surprised to see the verses that open the sixth aliyah of our Parasha. The aliyah I used to think was about the laws of Kashrut. And Hashem spoke to Moshe and Aharon, "This is the animal that you shall eat." What I found surprising about this opening was how rare it is. Almost no mitzvot begin like this. And if the role of the Cohen is to work at the temple, why add Aharon specifically to the laws of what animals are and aren't eaten? My initial instinct was that the Kashrut laws are an extension of the Korbanot laws. Instead of the customary division of Korbanot into two categories, Kodashim, like Holachah, Chatat, and Asham, and the Kodashim Kalim, such as Shlamim and its derivatives, they can be divided into several more, such as Super Kodashim, internal Chataot, ultra-light Kodashim, such as Maaser Behemah and firstborns, and almost Kodashim, that is, the meat people eat every day. My evidence for this was threefold. 1. Like Korbanot, food also have rules regarding what's allowed and what's not, specific animals and laws such as Kashrut signs, what to do and what not to do with the blood and chelek, etc. 2. The offerings handed to the Kohanim from the chulin animals, hazra, lechayim, and kiva. And 3. The placement of these laws after the sacrificial laws. The first problem I had with my understanding was that the medieval commentators disagreed with me. Ibn Ezra explained that Aharon's presence here is due to the Kohanim being the teachers who distinguish between the impure and the pure. And although Rabbi Yosef Bechol Shor and Ramban claim that the location of the Parasha here is in connection with the offering of the Korbanot, because the Makriv must be pure and not eat impure, that's according to Bechol Shor, and not touch impurity according to Ramban, the focus of our parasha is the laws of impurity and purity, and not the laws of kashrut. I could have tried to hang on to Ramban and Bechol Shor and claim that the role of Kohanim is to work in the Mikdash and the verses of purification were secondary, but here too I encountered difficulties. When you look at the verses, you find that they strongly support Ibn Ezra's view that the role of the priest is a matter of impurity and purity. Although we discussed the Korbanot in the last few Parashot, Hashem didn't address Aharon about them at all. In some, Hashem tells Moshe to command and speak to Aharon, or while in others, Moshe is to address the children of Israel, making the Kohanim's role technical. On the other hand, every time in the book of Vayikra, the Chumash, the sages called Torah Kohanim, in which Hashem addresses Moshe and Aharon simultaneously, they talk about the laws of purity and impurity. Apart from our passage, this is true about skin leprosy, house leprosy, and Tumat Zav. In addition, I found that what I thought to be evidence was, let's say, incorrect. First, our parasha doesn't mention kashrut laws, such as chalev and blood, slaughtering and cooking meat and milk. Neither are the laws of produce, although there are clear laws for what's allowed and not allowed. And some korbanot are plant-based. What repeats itself constantly are the laws of impurity and purity of animals, plants, and vessels. 2. Hazra, lechayim, and kiva are also not mentioned in our parasha. And 3rd, our parasha isn't directly connected to the korbanot. The verses that separate them are the deaths of Aharon's 2 sons when they bring foreign fire to the altar. The story of Aharon's son's death is divided into 3 parts, all 3 of which I'd like to analyze in a different time. But the middle part is also the only commandment for generations given in the Torah only to Aharon, on his own. The commandment itself forbids the priests to drink wine when they come to the Mishkan, but its reasoning is to differentiate between the holy and the mundane, and between the impure and pure, and to instruct the Bnei Israel in all the laws. Meaning, the reasoning for Aharon's special mitzvah is to teach and differentiate between impure and pure, as Ibn Ezra said. But I could defend my position as well. The same verse that spoke about the duties of the Kohen defined that his job is to instruct the right way in life and to distinguish between the impure and pure, but also between the holy and mundane, that is, the person before the atonement and the one after as well. as can be seen in Parashat Kodashim, the parasha that deals with the sanctity of human actions. And back to our original question, why then emphasize the mitzvah of purity? Admit you'd like me to explore this at a different time as well. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, pass it on to a friend. You might even want to buy my book. There's a link below. I am Dovi Holtz, one who loves Tanakh.